Sometimes animals get into trouble and need human help. This is the moment when even the most fearful and fierce animals, despite all caution, are forced to trust humans. How exactly does this happen? You're about to find it out. In this episode, I'll show you the most incredible and touching animal rescues. Let's go! Cut my hair, please. Somehow that's what this dog thought to itself as it addressed passers-by. However, for the most part, people didn't understand what mysterious, hairy creature was standing in front of them. This went on until the authors of this video met the poor thing. They immediately realized what was wrong and took the baby to the vet. Even the doctor didn't understand how this was possible. After all, apart from the aesthetic part, so much hair causes the man's best friend a lot of problems. Moisture is constantly trapped inside. Dust accumulates, unpleasant sensations and odors appear, and with all this, the dog was forced to get along every day of its miserable, lonely life. Well, that's not the kind of situation you'd wish on your worst enemy. No wonder the dog could barely move when they found it. The hair was even preventing it from walking properly. In any case, it was time to say goodbye to this misfortune. The vets gave the doggy a long, hard, and most importantly, neat trim. They cleaned the hair off its muzzle and cut the hair on each leg and torso. And their efforts were not in vain. All this was done so that the world saw such a beautiful dog, such a sweet and kind creature, which was insanely grateful to the people who rescued it. Of course, these stories can't go unnoticed. After this incident, the rescuers didn't remain indifferent and sheltered the baby at home. And most importantly, it didn't mind at all. According to the authors of the video, the dog quickly recovered, learned to move normally again, and became a full-fledged and life-loving creature again. Now it's in trouble. In the following story, as you understand from its title, someone overdid it and got the logical result. But still, let me stop speaking in riddles. This video shows us how a female leopard has fallen into a well, and kind and caring people are trying to help it get out of there as soon as possible. The eyewitnesses who called for help, but at the same time couldn't stand by callously and watch the leopard's efforts to escape, constructed a makeshift platform from a ladder. They lowered it to the bottom of the well and it worked. The predator quickly realized, climbed on it, and managed to hold on without any problems until the help service arrived at the place. Along with the service, a special cage arrived, where the leopard jumped at the first opportunity. As a result, the animal wasn't harmed. The animal was soon released back into its natural habitat. I hope that the cat will no longer fall into such a trap. The leopard should develop its memory so that it's on the level of elephants. These big guys certainly never forget anything, and the following video is a perfect example of that. It took place in the southwest part of India in the state of Kerala. A lot of people live there and a lot of elephants live there too. As you can imagine, in such an environment, real friendships develop. It's because of this, when a random man was walking towards his house and heard the scream of an animal, he did not remain indifferent, did not run away somewhere, but went straight to the sound and became the main hero of the story. It turned out that behind all the screams was a little elephant that had fallen into a hole. The man rushed to the village, brought help, and pulled the animal out of the trap. It was thanks to an excavator. No, they didn't lift the elephant with it. People were digging and piling the ground so that the animal could easily climb the slope they'd created on its own. The little elephant got its bearings and quickly made it to the surface. The people were happy because they'd done a real good deed. All the while, the adult elephants, which were helpless in such a situation, watched the rescue operation. When the calf came running to its parents, one of the adults turned towards the humans and raised its trunk approvingly several times, showing how much it was grateful to the rescuers. A girl had an unusual encounter with an unexpected creature. She was driving down the road toward her country house, and quite by chance, she came across this dog. It was wandering somewhere in the woods all alone and was clearly abandoned. The dog was limping and not feeling well in general. Since the speed of the car was low, the girl saw the situation more carefully and stopped to look at the poor creature. But she never imagined that from the first second they would connect and be inseparable forever. The girl immediately took the dog with her and knew that she would never leave it in trouble again. If such cute behavior with dogs is somehow to be expected, then regarding kangaroos, it seems to me that you might have a different perspective. You probably think that these creatures can only fight with humans, fight with relatives, or fight for life with other animals. But no matter how tough their lives are, there's also room for affection. In this video, the little kangaroo didn't know how else to thank the man who saved it. Well, what could be more beautiful than such sweet and sincere hugs? Huh? Probably only these bears can be on the same level with kangaroos, which are still very small and completely unaware of how dangerous and powerful predators they'll become in a matter of years. In the meantime, their lives were on the line, and the people who found the abandoned babies took them with them, gave them water, food, and warmth. Now the young bears will spend some time here, and as soon as they get stronger, doctors will release them back into their natural environment. If you thought little bears were the limit of cuteness, you probably haven't seen little baby leopards. In this video, a group of people was walking towards the woods and exploring the area when suddenly they spotted tiny, spotted kittens, which were all alone. Of course, if their mother had been around, it would have instantly shown up and not let the strangers even lay a finger on its cubs. But unfortunately, their mother was gone. It soon became clear that it had most likely died under some circumstances, and the cubs were left all alone. To help them survive, people gathered the kittens into a group and took the animals with them. Now they'd take care of them, feeding and watering them, and making sure that none of them had any problems. Did you think touching and cute situations could only happen on land? Of course not. Here, for example, is an extraordinary story that happened to ordinary fishing enthusiasts. People were boating somewhere in the sea when all of a sudden a very interesting guest swam up to them. I'm talking about a sea lion, a cute but at the same time quite strong and independent creature. Nevertheless, as self-sufficient as it was, the creature clearly needed help that day. The sea lion received many wounds. Apparently it was hurt in some fight. Also, the animal was very hungry. It had so little strength that it barely jumped onto the people's boat. The kind fishermen were not indifferent, understood everything at once, and immediately headed toward the shore to provide the sea lion with all the necessary assistance. "Where have you wandered, my calf?" That must have been what the cow in this video thought to itself when it realized that its beloved calf was in a difficult situation. Without realizing it, the calf was caught in a simple and effective trap. Because of its special hoof structure and small size, it was almost impossible for the calf to climb back up that slope. No matter how its mother tried to help the baby, no matter how it looked around for something, nothing worked. And then, almost desperate and giving up, it heard and saw kind people. They noticed the situation from outside, got on their bicycles, and arrived at the scene as quickly as they could. Of course, with the help of the people, the calf immediately found itself on the surface. Look, even its mother had a hard time getting up, let alone the baby. A little boy was on his way to school. On the way there were the same people he usually meets, but somewhere among them was an unusual guest. For the first time ever, a tiny bird was on the ground unwillingly. Its wings were frozen. The boy immediately told the man on the porch about it, and with a sense of accomplishment ran to school not to be late for class. Well, the man, who had nowhere to go, went outside and took the chick with him. He began to warm it with everything he could. Fortunately, nothing serious happened to the bird. It remained unharmed. The bird thanked the man for his work with a couple of cute bird phrases and flew away. House bee. Well, no one should have any questions about the previous story. After all, birds are not always afraid of being in human hands. Bees are much more timid and wild creatures. Nevertheless, one of them was in trouble at one time, and a man who happened to be nearby showed compassion and saved it from death. Now the bee lives in his house, eats honey, and is not at all afraid of such a giant creature in relation to itself. That's all, guys. Which story touched you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you later.